Hi there, it's Chris Kramer coming to you today from the Adrienne Arsht Center for Performing Arts, and I am here with Frank Regan, the period and stylistic choreographer for the Neighborhood Ballroom. Frank, we're so happy to speak to you today.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. It's always a pleasure to be in Miami, especially working for Miami City Ballet and Edward Villella.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you here today too. So tell us a little bit about it. We're happy to have you. You came down here for this week, right?
Yes, I did, yes. Specifically.
Okay, and tell us, what are you doing here this week?
Well, we are looking for elements of nuance that we can improve upon. I mean, it's in great shape, but, you know, there's nothing that cannot be improved upon. Edward, of course, is a perfectionist and searches for every possible avenue insofar as kicking things up a notch. And so, you know, essentially that's what we're doing. The dancers are absolutely wonderful, and it's always a pleasure to work with them. And you know, there's not a great deal for me to do, but you know, we're exploring all the different areas in which we can induce a little more emotionalism, a little more color, a little more entertainment value, everything that's necessary.
Yes, certainly. So, I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier, and you were saying that Crystal Villella had really, you know, made sure the dancers, because the work had been performed before, that Crystal Villella kind of got everyone up to speed.
Oh, absolutely, and amazingly so. I'm just so surprised at the extraordinary jobs that she has done. This is not an easy thing to do, and she's
4-act ballet.
Yeah, absolutely, it's wonderful. Everything is in place perfectly. There's not a lot for me to do except just, you know, explore, as I say, elements of nuance. Crystal's got it all together beautifully.
So it sounds like you're here this week putting the icing on the cake.
One might say that. That's an appropriate metaphor.
I mean, a few years ago when you started working with Edward, tell us a little bit about how that relationship was formed, how this all came about, this great partnership between you and Edward to work on the Neighborhood Ballroom.
Well, you know, it just sort of came out of the blue for me. Of course, I have been a great fan of Edward Villella. I've always had tremendous admiration for him as a dancer, as an artist, and also obviously what he's done here in Miami as artistic director. So it was a pleasant surprise when a couple of old friends of mine, Augie and Margot, very famous dance team of the 50s. Augie and Margot Rodriguez, they used to be in the Ed Sullivan Show all the time, the Steve Allen Show. They were Sammy Davis opening act for 10 years. They were an amazing Latin dance and adagio couple. And we had worked together for years, way back when. And apparently, of course, they were very good friends with Edward, and he had this wonderful concept, and he wasn't quite sure, I guess, at that point how he was going to get it off the ground, but he spoke to Augie and Margot, and he said he needed somebody with a background in ballet and ballroom who was also a dance historian. And so Augie said, we have just the guy for you. And so he introduced me to Edward, and I spoke to Edward on the phone, and brought me down here. We started on the waltz, and ever since then, you know, we've just been engaged in different types of artistic projects. We worked on, after that we did Quick Step and Foxtrot and Mambo, and we also did an interesting ballet together called Gismonti Brazil.
Oh, yes.
Edward and I, we choreographed.
Oh my goodness, I for a moment here I completely forgot about that, that you both had worked on that piece together.
Absolutely, and I had he had me do a tango ballet for the kids in the school, and I did the Spanish segments of Don Quixote. So you know, it's always a pleasure to work for Edward.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, tell us a little bit about your background. You were telling me where you were from before we started.
Well, I'm originally from Scotland. I've been over here for over 50 years. A lot of people find that hard to believe because I still have an accent, but...
It's a nice one, you can keep it.
That's what all the girls say.
I know.
That's why I keep it.
And so, but how did you get into the whole dance world and everything? I mean, you have so much experience in so many different areas in the dance world.
Well, I started off in musical theatre as a child. When I was a kid, I had a good singing voice, and I was in a lot of little productions, and needless to say, learned to dance a little bit. Then I got into ballroom dancing. When I was 13, discovered girls. Ballroom dancing seemed to be the best avenue towards that.
Yeah,
and
right.
so, you know, I ended up...
Lots of women and too few men, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, to me, that was a reasonably optimum situation that I was willing to pursue. So
I understand.
I took my bronze, silver, and gold medals in ballroom dancing in 1 year, and so
wow.
Yeah, I seem to have, I had a kind of an aptitude for it. I was a dancer for years, but during the time when I was dancing, I was invariably getting jobs as a choreographer. So those two things sort of, you know, occurred simultaneously for me throughout the years.
Well, thank you, Frank, so much for speaking with us today.
Pleasure.
We are excited to see the Neighborhood Ballroom, and thank you so much for all your work, and congratulations.
Thank you.